Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast with Chris, Dan, Bobby, and Tony, the Uncle Puckers. Let's go Devils!
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Uncle Puckers. It's Dan, Bobby, and Chris tonight. Mr. Tony has the evening off. What's up, dudes?
How's it going?
It's going, man. Today was training camp. They came in. They are not taking the ice yet, but they're all there, man. We're getting close.
Yeah, a lot of hype about the Stadium Series game coming up because those tickets went on sale, and I'm happy to announce I will not be going.
And how much were they going on sale for?
I was just only saw on the periphery, but these are people who get priority access to it too. But I was seeing like $500, $300, so $500 for center ice. But that doesn't mean low. That just means center ice. And I really want to go. And some of these things, man, they just might price you out. But I'm going to wait to see it when it all settles down and see what the real prices are.
You think they'll sell out?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
Over 80,000 people can fit in that stadium. I mean, they're not Taylor Swift. They're just a hockey team.
Philly's very close, and you're going to get the Devils fans, and you're just going to get hockey fans in this area because it's a local event.
So I don't even know. Have we been selling out the other outdoor games on a regular basis? NHL, are they selling out 80,000 seats?
What were the ones last year? Was Washington, Carolina. That one sold out. Jesus Christ. Fucking motorcycles flying by. That one sold out. I don't know. I mean, it's a big stadium. It'd be awesome if they did.
It is bigger than the usual. You're right. That is quite large, but we'll
MetLife is huge, and it's going to be really bad if the Rangers sell out the night the night after, and we don't.
It would help them sell out. They can lower the prices.
That would definitely help,
so the rest of us can go.
Yeah, that would definitely. Would you go?
I would 100% go. I actually want to go. I really do want to go. So I am going to look into it again once it settles down, and then I sit there and say, hey, it's a one-time thing. Can I buy it off of somebody for $500 or preferably a higher seat that's nowhere near that cost, but still.
Yeah,
I understand what I have to I understand what opening day is, even the way they tier prices. I sit on the top, and I know what I'm going to spend each time, but that's okay. I go. So as long as it's within reason, I might find a way to go.
I think that they dropped the ball, though, with putting us against the Flyers and the Rangers against the Islanders. I just, after the playoff series, I just don't know why it's not Devils Rangers. It really should be. You know, that would be amazing, and you definitely would sell that one out.
Dude, we don't even need the other regional. Like, it could be Devils, anybody, Edmonton, Colorado. Like, take a fast team, put them up against our team. Yeah, I know you're losing like that Philly contingent that's going to come up here, but come on, man. If someone had a chance to see Connor McDavid on the ice against the Devils outside.
Yeah. And, Flyers are not going to be very good. We don't know what the Islanders are going to be. I'm thinking probably not very good. And then you have those other two teams that are probably, I'd say, Stanley Cup contenders, and the Rangers and the Devils, and they're not playing each other. I just think that that's something that needs
to replay the playoffs. That's always a good move. They do that sometimes for the game of the week kind of setup. Yeah. These two teams met in the playoffs. I don't know why they wouldn't do that this time around.
So speaking of the Stadium Series, have you gentlemen had the opportunity to see a concept jersey that's floating around?
No, I have not.
I'm going to show you, and you're just going to get your reaction here. And I will preface this by saying, everyone online, it's either completely fake, is an actual concept that'll become something, might be the jersey. There's no consensus here, and I don't know where to begin, but I'll just show you.
Ooh. I saw that. Okay, I did see that online.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that is a concept, but I absolutely love it. I love it.
The red looks a little off, but that might just be coming through a computer, coming through a phone. It looks a little orangey.
So it does. So for anyone who hasn't seen it, it is basically a jet black full suit. The only red is in the NJ of the Devils logo. It's not the full logo. any.
Right, there's no white background.
There's no emblem, right? There's no like
emblem.
circle
It's
around
the
it. It's
NJ,
just I like
then
that.
There's one
That
arm
one.
wrap on each side, one bottom wrap, and the socks are red. Everything else jet black. So it's just black on red. It pops in a way that's quite unique. Dan's right. This particular one that I got off of Twitter does look kind of an orangey red. Obviously, they're going to use.
I got to
Devil's
believe
red.
it's got to be the right red when they produce it.
I don't know how this would come out and not be at least possibly the design, because it was next to a Flyers one. It looked pretty classic. As much as I give the Flyers a lot of crap, some of their jerseys can actually look pretty classic when they soup them up a little bit. But I didn't know. I don't know what to think of it. I don't hate it.
No, I wanted a black. We got the one black. I was not a huge. I'm still trying to like our jersey, but this black, I really like that. That's a nice looking one, especially with the right red with it.
That's how the black should be.
Yeah,
that is how the black should be. So I think, Bobby, that is gonna be it. They have them right next to, on this picture here. They have them right next to the Flyer one. I guess that's the one that you saw.
Yeah.
I think that looks like everything keeps popping up. That's the jersey.
Some people were saying, no, they don't announce it this early, and they're putting dates. I don't know where they get this stuff from, just based on previous years. But like I said, I cannot prove or.
I mean, it's on Reddit, so it has to be true, right?
There's nothing false on Reddit.
I mean, there's this one that I saw. This is butt-ass ugly. I think somebody made this one. It's green and black with the the NJ, the NJ logo. I don't like at all. I like our classic one.
I mean, I could get behind the green and black maybe for like a St. Patty's theme or something.
Right.
I don't know if I'd like to run with that. And then, what did they do with that logo? They say it kind of separated the N from the J.
Yeah.
It's now beside itself, literally.
Different
I
colors.
don't like it. Yeah,
which is exactly,
colors,
the one thing that makes us have cool jerseys is the fact that the N and the J, they're together, that you spread them out to make two different letters. I don't like that. And actually, that can bring us to this article here from Bleacher Report by Joe Yerdon. He ranked every NHL team's home jersey for the 23-24 season. I'm just going to blow through some of these real quick. We'll start at 31. I don't know. Where's 32? There's 31 starting. They have the Kings at 31. Just the classic, little triangle squared thing, and just LA with the little crown on the bottom. It's kind of boring. Number 30, Columbus Blue Jackets, which we will talk a little bit about too when we're done with this.
Is this the one to be on it?
No, it's the one with the flaming, the star with the streak, around it. I don't like it. The Anaheim Ducks are number 29. That's the one that's just kind of the flying V. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, that one. The flying D.
The flying D. That's great.
Classic flying D. The classic St. Louis Blues come in at 28. I kind of like the St. Louis Blues jersey.
I'm good with some of the classics, but okay.
Washington Capitals at 27. We got the 26 is Florida. We'll get to the top 10. 25 is Tampa. 24 is the Carolina Hurricanes. They have 23 is the Winnipeg Jets. I think that's too low for the Winnipeg Jets. I like their jersey
kind of dig
a lot.
That logo. Seemed like you kind of grouped a bunch of the jerseys that were just a name down the center there for a while.
Dan's favorite jersey is coming in at number 22 rather. The Ottawa Senators. Colorado Avalanche 21. He's got the Wild at 20. I like the Wild's jersey.
Wild's pretty cool. I like
do.
the colors. I like the logo.
I like the logo. They're one of my more. I like them a little bit more than most. He has them at 20. I don't want to read why he doesn't like them. Number 19 is Nashville, the ugly yellow, gold, whatever it is.
Oh, that one, the big bright yellow,
the big bright one. 18, he's got the Golden Knights. 17, he's got the green Dallas Star with the D in the star, that one.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, if you compare it to all the Dallas Star jerseys, I'm not totally against that. They did change their color green, though, right?
Yeah.
The other one was a little bit darker, and the new one is more, I don't know, more of like a brighter green.
I have a cricket in here.
Yeah.
Is that what
you hear that?
I thought that was our audience.
Holy shit.
The cricket took Tony's seat.
I should let my cat
Cricket
in to
Tony.
kill it.
Be the highest rated show we ever had.
Number 16. This is a team whose jerseys I used to really like, and now I can't. This one I don't dig, and that's Vancouver. the whale.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that one.
Color scheme's not bad. Reminds me of the Whalers. It's the logo. I'm not a big fan. The Free Willy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Number 15 is the old Seattle Kraken.
See, I'm moving them up the list right now. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'll tell you, he gave them a much higher grade for their away jersey. He likes that better. Number 14 is the old winged wheel in Detroit, which we all know. Number 13 is the Philadelphia Flyers, which I don't like their jerseys.
That's way higher than it should be.
Number 12 is the Boston Bruins.
Original 6, Boston Bruins, not too bad. The wheel's a little weird.
Number 11 is the New York Islanders. Now, who do you guys think is number 1 now that we're in the top 10?
Gotta be us.
I'm definitely biased to that. Where I would definitely think I really do love our logo. I think it's absolutely awesome. Our jerseys are awesome.
Well, you know that we're in the top 10.
This guy,
you would think that we're number 1.
Yeah, I would go with number 1. He's maybe going to pick like the Leafs or something.
It is my favorite, but I don't know what he's going to do.
Well, number 10, he has the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
Number 9, he has the San Jose Sharks. Number 8, he has the aforementioned Toronto Maple Leafs. No. Number 7, he has our New Jersey Devils. And he wrote, the trick with ranking jerseys is that sometimes a great logo can make or break where a team slots in. Fortunately for the New Jersey Devils, they have one of the best in all of sports to lean on. When the Devils changed their colors from red, green, and white to red, black, and white in 1992, it may have been the most logical change a team has ever made in their branding. Sure, the old Christmas jerseys were awesome, but in no way was green ever a color associated with the Devil. Changing from green to black makes the Devils the Devils. That the Devils simplified their look with the less busy shoulder yokes to make it a straight-up black and red attack just made sense. Sure, it worked out great that they made the change right when Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls were making every team in sports consider changing to red and black, but the Devils were always meant to look like that, and their jerseys matched the mood. There's a good reason they've never deviated from it in over 30 years.
Yep.
Number 6, a jersey that I really like is the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah. It is a good one, especially we're looking at the home colors, the blue with the gold trim.
It's a little busy for me.
No, this one's a little busy for me. This comes in at whatever number this is.
Oh my
Jesus Christ! Sorry, the number 5 is the Arizona Coyotes. I do need a studio.
They put that joke of a logo at number 5.
Yeah.
Now listen, the Coyote away red jersey with the Coyote howling on it, not too bad. I'm kind of a fan with that. What color I don't like is that one with the crazy Southwest looking, Native American
pattern on the bottom and everything. Yeah,
man, talk about busy. You're right.
The only Arizona Coyote jersey I think I really like are those alternate ones they made with the maroon that just said Arizona going down. I like that jersey. It's simple, it's clean. But let's see what he writes for the Arizona one. The first and best thing the Coyotes did when they relocated from Winnipeg in the late 90s was to lean heavily into the Southwest U.S. aesthetic. The worst thing they did was completely go away from that for almost 20 years. The second best thing they ever did was bring it back with a vengeance as their full-time home jersey in 2021, to be followed by my phone just fucking went away. I just lost that. Give me a second.
You make up the rest. We'll never know.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, so that was what number was that?
5.
5? Okay, 5. So let's get down to the 4.
Rangers are left. The Canadians are left.
No, Rangers are gone.
Oh, the Rangers are gone.
Yeah, Rangers are gone. Number 7. They were number 7.
Oh, okay.
So number 4. No, I'm sorry. The Rangers were number 4. I just got to them. So the Rangers are number 4. The Calgary Flames are number 3.
Which Flames jersey is he talking about?
The C with the flame, the red one, just a classic right C with the flame.
I kind of like how they were bold enough to use like a red and orange together, because that's kind of a weird 80s thing,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not digging that logo. Flying C on fire. Okay.
Yeah. Number 2 is the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not a fan of their jerseys. And number 1, of course, Montreal. And I don't know if you can really argue with Montreal. Like it is the, historic
classic of the classics.
I mean, they haven't changed in that 500 years. They've had the same logo, so
That's
I'm okay with
the
that.
Expo jersey that they did for that fun thing that the Montreal Expo colors. I did totally dig it, but I was aware that a lot of Montreal fans are like, "No, we are never going to have a third jersey. Do not do that."
Montreal fans have to kind of get with the times and stop thinking that their team is the greatest hockey team of all time when you haven't won a cup since 1993. I was actually watching. They had that Game 5 on the NHL Network earlier, and I was watching the end of it against Los Angeles, and that was the last time, and that place was crazy. But win something. I like their team. I think they can be very good. I think they can be better this year. I don't think they're going to be on the completely on the bottom. I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the Eastern Conference, but they got a lot of work to do.
Right. Yeah. So before we get off the jersey thing, have either of you heard what Timo Meier is doing regarding changing his number?
I did hear about
this.
Now, what is the logic with this?
Well, 28 was his number.
28 was his number.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. Basically, he wants to go back to it. He does feel like it's his lucky number, so he's going to do that. But what I'm posing to you is his give back program. And I just want to know if you think it's a great idea, not enough, total sham, whatever.
What is it?
Basically, for anyone that has already purchased his 96 jersey, if you come into the Devil's Den the first 2 weeks of the hockey season and you buy a number 28 jersey, you will get a 28% discount. Okay, so now you still have two Timo Meier jerseys. It's not an exchange; they're just offering
the 96% discount.
That's basically what a lot of people are saying. In addition to that, the first 128 fans to purchase the 28 jersey will also receive a Timo Meier signed puck. And he's also donating, I think, he's matching the donation of the first 2 weeks, 28% to charity in the Devil's name. So he's basically trying to say, listen, I know you just bought the jersey. You're going to come in if you want to buy another one. Sure, you can't have it for free, right? But we worked out something so you get a little discount off of it, the free puck for some people. So my initial reaction was anything like that is cool to me. Like, nobody's done that before that I can recall. At least he's trying something. It's hard for someone who maybe did just go out and spend, $250 on a numbered jersey. I don't buy them with numbers, so I think that's what they go for, something like that. But at least it is something. That's how I feel. And also, me personally, I wouldn't have a problem keeping his 96
Right, I was just going to say that. Like, it's kind of, in 5 or 6 years when you're rolling with that 96 Meier jersey, like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
But there was a couple people, just again, out on social media, and I don't know them personally, that just thought it was like, are you kidding me? That's all you can do.
And I think the profit markup is on those jerseys. It's got to be somewhat, but I mean, at least at the end point of sale, they're not getting them for $15. It's marking them up to $250, obviously.
Right.
So I mean, maybe the 28% is pretty close to their profit margin on that anyway. So, which is kind of cool to say, go ahead, get the new jersey. We're gonna sell them to you at cost, which I kind of get. I don't know. They can afford to buy everybody a jersey? Probably
I don't understand though the people bitching like he could have not done shit, and you still would have gone out and bought the 28 jersey. At least he's trying to do something. At least he's acknowledging
that's
the fact
my
that,
general take on it.
But people just in general, especially on social media, they just have to shit on everything.
Some of these guys I read though, they're not like I know the names only from like seeing their activity, and they're smart, engaged Devils fans. It's not like a lot of these people are just loose cannons. I just happen to see a couple that kind of questioned, the sincerity of it or whatever. And so I'm not going to like bash them for that. But when I take a step back again, like you just said, it's like it's something. It's more than anyone else has ever done.
Right.
Unfortunately, the weird part for me is like if I go to opening day in my Timo Meier 96 jersey, it says you got to come there wearing your 96 jersey to buy the 28 jersey. Now I got two jerseys going to the goddamn game. Like that's annoying to me.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, when it comes to jerseys, I don't know what you guys have or what, but because I'm big on, I do not buy jerseys of players that are on the team right now. I refuse to. I'll always, if I'm going to buy a jersey with a name or number on it, it's going to be somebody retired or whatever. How do you guys feel about that? Like, do you have any jerseys of players that play right now on this team?
I've never had any name on a Devils jersey. I'm not opposed to it for the exact reasons you said. I'll go get an Ilyas jersey now. He's actually one of the ones I was going to get anyway because I kind of knew he was never leaving. But At one point, I even entertained the idea of Zach Parise. Like, who'd have thought, seriously, that he wasn't going to get that next contract and stick around for a while? And I'm glad I didn't do that. But yeah, I have none. In fact, the only jersey I have of a name, period, is Mookie Wilson that you gave to me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
80s throwback jersey. And again, there's a legacy player, retired, played for other teams, but that's totally different. So yeah, I would go back now, and it's just a matter of cost for me. I already have a few jerseys. I only go to a couple games a year. I don't typically wear my jerseys out all the time, so I just don't need a closet full of jerseys where I'm going to go get numbers.
I know a guy. I'll take care of you. Tell me what you want.
And then my kid just bought me the reverse retro white.
Nice.
Which is awesome. Cool. So now
no name, no number.
No name.
Okay.
So for the first time in years, I'm going to go the home opener in white.
Nice. What about you, Dan?
In the past, I've had numbered jerseys. I had a John McClane jersey.
I remember that one. You would wear that pretty much every single day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You love that thing.
That was until I got my Brodeur jersey, and he was still a current player at that time. Probably the safest bet. Go ahead and buy that jersey. Even though he's still on the team currently, but I probably moved to that position where, just being an older guy now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it feels kind of awkward and weird to have some younger guy's name on my back. Now, I know a lot of people are like, no, I'm supporting the team. I'm into it. He's a good player. And I totally respect that. I get it. But for me, it's just kind of weird, like, especially if you have kids at high school sports, you see that, like, wouldn't you feel weird having like some high school, and these kids are practically coming out of high school. So yeah. It just feels bizarre to me. I'm not judging anybody who does it. I just can't handle it. So I probably would not do a current player. It makes me wonder though, like, there's some guys that I am older than that, I've been out of the game for a while. As I start to get older and older, maybe that would come back around where I wouldn't give a shit anymore. I wonder. And then, like Bobby said, like, listen, man, when I'm thinking I can't even afford a ticket for some of these games, the lettered jersey is also out of the budget. I would rather use it to watch a game than, that's kind of crazy.
I do have a Nico Hischier jersey, but it was
cool.
It was a giveaway like a couple of years ago at my work that we were doing. The beer guys brought all our stuff for a Super Bowl party that we were doing, so we had a ton of giveaways, and a Nico Hischier jersey was in it. And the owner of the place just threw it, and he threw it to me. He's like, "You're a big Devil fan, keep it." So I have that one.
That's cool.
I have a Brodeur jersey. I have a Scott Stevens signed jersey, which actually I got one of my customers when one of my places. This dude Tony, older guy, big Devil fan, and he was in the FBI and he was retired. And I met him at Jersey Shore Fitness over there at the gym. And
right.
I was wearing a Devil hat one day, and we just struck up conversation. When I opened my restaurant, he would come in with his wife all the time. And one day he popped in. Every year he would run a charity for families of 9/11. And he would get all kinds of memorabilia from the Jets, the Giants, Devils, Rangers, Islanders, Nets, Knicks, Yankees, Mets, all of them. And he came in and he's like, "Look, I have a Scott Stevens signed game-worn jersey that we're going to be bidding."
Wow.
He's like, "Do you want me to put a bid in for you?" And I'm like, well, I have no idea what that would even go for at an auction. Like, I don't have that, just, I appreciate it. Thank you, but I'm good. 2 days later, he walked in with it and he was like, "I got it for you." So I have that. That's is like unreal. My prized possession.
Definitely.
I do have a lot of Viking jerseys, like old players and stuff, but
yeah, First of all, anything that's given to you is gravy too. And again, I'm not against having names on the jersey, but I think anybody with any legitimacy as a Devil, if I came across something I think I might just frame it. I think I would probably just, fold it up, frame it nice, especially if it's a person of name, strong name for the Devils.
Definitely.
That's probably where I would go.
I like some, obscure jerseys too, like from other teams. I've seen a bunch of them. There's a couple I would probably buy, just teams that don't even exist anymore. I like that stuff. But believe it or not, some of my favorite jerseys are like men's league jerseys that teams I've played with and played against. The one team was called the Shooters, and that's a silly name for a team until you see the logo is Shooter McGavin's face.
Nice.
It's great.
Nice.
And just some of them are cool. Like one was just, dumb name, Coastal Pirates. It's got this pirate chick on it, and you got to see
like
it.
One that was like cool. Titty something. What was the one?
Well, that's
what was the name of that team?
So the name of this team is Titty City. And
Titty City.
Yes, they had pink jerseys with giant jugs on them. And,
they actually had boobs on the jersey?
Yeah, and I think somebody thought, hey, if they're pink, breast cancer awareness. Nobody can really get on our case about this.
There you go. This is
I'm
true.
not sure the origin story of when they became Titty City, and it's a pretty good one. There's the Reverse Cowboys. There's another team. So they're always flirting with disaster. Yeah, some of them just are good names, not good jerseys. There's their dad bods.
We were Chico's Bail Bonds once. That was one of our team names for one of the leagues we were in. Chico's Bail Bonds. That was awesome.
Yeah, that's a classic name.
Yeah, but the jersey wise, I'm as much as I would love to have like a Jack Hughes jersey or something. Like you said, if I did have a Jack Hughes jersey, I would want to get it signed and framed, and then that's it. Like not to wear.
That's his first jersey. He's got a Jack Hughes jersey. We're going to bring that to his first game and hopefully get it signed for him and stuff. Like that's awesome. He's a 9-year-old kid looking up to Jack Hughes. That's the way to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you could definitely get it signed. Probably not by Jack, but you could definitely get it signed by somebody.
Well, I got my Brodeur jersey signed, and I took my younger brother, who's way younger than me, and at the time he was just getting into hockey, started playing and everything, and he was actually trying out goaltending first. He eventually moved out to defense, so he was big into Brodeur. I took him there, and I was thinking, oh, cool.
Your brother was a really good hockey player.
Yeah, oh yeah. He still is. Actually, I got to play with him a couple of years ago, and he hasn't really lost anything. He's pretty good, really good defenseman. But he didn't stick with the goaltending thing, so I think he really cared about the Brodeur jersey too much after that. But that was a fun experience. I think it's like an old Sports Authority or something in the area that's since closed down, and he was appearing at that, so he showed up. It's pretty cool.
Now, how long ago was that? Like, what year was he in?
Jeez, boy, I'm trying to remember. I can't even tell you what year it was. It
can
was
tell us.
After 95. I would love to tell you. I just can't. But no, it was after 95. It was probably between 95 and 2000. I don't think he had a second cup by then.
Okay.
I'm just going on intuition. I'd have to figure out how old my brother was and do some math, and I'm just not suited to that.
My mother got me years ago for Christmas one year. She got me an Edmonton Oilers Gretzky jersey, so I actually do have that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is. What's that?
He was okay, that guy.
Yeah, I heard of him.
All right.
He's all right. Now, with this team coming up this year, this Devil team, now we know that Jack Hughes is going to do Jack Hughes stuff, and Nico Hischier is going to do his thing, and even. Like, I think that Timo Meier is set to have probably the best year of his career with this offense around him. But give me, like, maybe 2 players that you're really hoping to see kind of pop and develop and really have career years this year. Or, maybe not looking for it, but maybe you'd like to see them. Maybe it's not in the cards, but you would like to see that person do it. Now, for me, I think that this year is going to be a big year for Dawson Mercer. I love this guy's game. Bobby had mentioned before about, this guy being able to play anywhere. You can put him in the top 6, you can put him in the bottom 6. It doesn't matter. He can play wing, he can play center. And I just think that the Devils, I think if another couple of years of him developing, he's going to be one of those players on this team that you cannot win without. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be such an integral part to whatever this team does in the future. So I'm super, super excited to watch him.
That third year in a player's development too is a big year because anything can happen your first year, right? Typically, you're not going to, blow the doors down. And then there is a lot of talk about the sophomore slump, which from what I've seen is a pretty darn good thing. It does seem to happen quite a bit. In that third year, you really start to get comfortable. You've been a pro now for several years, not to mention the NHL side, but. And so it's really exciting to see what happens in a third year.
The third year, I feel, with any sport or any position, it's that that's the year if you know they're for real. Okay, you gave us one good year, maybe you did slump a little bit, but that potential's there. What are you going to do in that third year? You've been there long enough, you know the system, you've developed, and now what can you do?
It's a natural thing in most of us when you're the young guy, and then you turn around after a couple years and realize. I got a couple years on these guys now, and maybe you start helping them, maybe you don't, but you still see them coming up, and it does, for a lot of people anyway, kind of go into your confidence mode. You're not just that young kid anymore. Right. Not that he ever thinks he's not a big part of the picture, but it does play a part in your mind for sure.
How about you, Dan?
Well, Mercer is definitely a great call, but I'm thinking about 2 people in particular. One, I really want him to have the year that he seems like he left us, the promise of. That's Luke Hughes. I think, this is, for all intents and purposes, real rookie year. And I think it could be one of the best rookie years of any defenseman. It's very possible. But, we also would not be super shocked if he's got some growing to do. What makes me think that it's less, of a growing period than most is how quickly he adapted to a handful of games last year. It was incredible. And I haven't seen people, with that much skill also adapt to, a new level of play so fast in real time. That was pretty amazing. And then, of course, the other person I'm thinking about is Akira Schmid. I feel like he's our biggest X factor in the goaltending. Look, not to say that we know everything there is to know about Vanacek, because I believe he can turn in a better playoff performance. But the truth is, we don't really know what Schmid can do night in and night out. And if he has a great year and answers some of those goalie questions for us, emerges as a number one perhaps, and it's just playing lights out, are we going to have some kind of question going into playoffs, considering he just had a couple games in the playoffs? Yeah, sure, I guess so. But that would be fantastic for him to have a breakout year.
Now, I have no
idea what's going to happen.
I think that those game 6 and 7 in the Ranger series and all of the Carolina series, I honestly think that Luke Hughes was our best defenseman. Yeah. It was, like you said, how crazy it was that this kid was able to adapt and be a dominant player on the ice in the playoffs. Like, this right. wasn't like this. If it's November, you're like, okay, this guy's, maybe got some chops. This was the playoffs. Like, the stakes don't get any higher.
Distinctly different atmospheres and scenes for him to jump into. Number one was just the drama of the Rangers series and how it started, your closest rival and all that. Then you go from that to the blowout mess that was happening in Carolina, and you still keep your composure, play a solid game. Very impressive. For me, he's actually 1-2. I have to go with Luke Hughes because I'm so excited to see what he can do. And if it's in the blood, like I see from his brother, specifically Jack, that's what makes me so excited about where this kid's ceiling is. We saw him in like 5 games or whatever it was. He's got so much ceiling. But then what really makes this question hard for me is that I can legitimately see a scenario where every single player in our top 6 has a better year. Like a more productive – every one of them could go up in goals and points, and that's crazy to think of. But for me, I'm going to go with the unknown, because other than knowing simply the stats, and that's Toffoli. I'm blown away by this. I want to see what he's going to do. I only know of his name because I watch hockey, and he scores 30 goals and that kind of thing. But to throw him up in that mix now, so for me, that's the 2 I'm looking for, because I think I know what I'm going to get from Timo Meier, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier.
Like I said, they're going to do what they do. And right. The Tyler Toffoli thing is extremely interesting, because I don't think we have a guy – we definitely don't have a forward on our team that has a shot like him. And, a one-timer like Toffoli, I just think our power play should be so good this year. They should be clicking at such a high rate with all that offensive talent on the ice. But then, Dan, about Akira Schmid, I really hope that he takes the number 1 spot. I really do. There's
so much I like about the way he plays, how calm he is.
Yeah.
He does have the size. That's always good.
And if he could develop and be that guy, there's no stopping this team. And, about goalies, we were talking last show about the prospect challenge, about the 2 games that had happened up till then. And then Monday they played Boston at 10 a.m. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get to watch it. I did watch highlights. And the goalie in net was Riley Mercer, 19-year-old little brother of Dawson. And it was the only game out of the tournament we won. I think Squires scored a goal and Graham Clark scored a goal. And we actually, some of our prospects that, we're really looking to possibly be a part of this team in the coming years looked pretty good. But he looked really freaking good. Awesome. I know he's kind of jumped around. He's been at a couple of different camps or whatever. I think he would spend a little time in Ottawa. He spent a little time a couple of other places. But if he can get picked up, whether it's AHL, ECHL, or whatever, I really would. Could you imagine, Dawson Mercer and Riley Mercer, and then you got the Foote brothers and the Hughes brothers? This could be a crazy team.
He's only 19 too. Like, that's amazing.
He's only 19.
You talk about where he's been. 19. Like, I was graduating high school. So, let's give the kid a break. I'm sure he's got time to develop.
I graduated at 17.
Awesome. Well, you were a genius. You jumped a couple grades. That's why.
No, I was just behind the curve. I started senior year at 16. I didn't get my license till senior year. Everybody else was driving. Yeah, my mother. But if she kept me back, I wouldn't probably even know you guys. We wouldn't be sitting here doing a podcast now.
That's true.
Be doing probably be a Ranger fan. Who knows?
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
I didn't know our junior class.
They were all Ranger fans.
Big Ranger fans.
Well, before we move on, we will give a shout out to our Hockey Podcast Network and our sponsors over at DraftKings.
Woohoo!
And it's the Stanley Cup champion Jim Dowd, and you're listening to Uncle Puck. And it's the Stanley Cup champion Jim Dowd, and you're listening to Uncle Pucker's New Jersey Devil podcast.
We are back with another week of football, boys and girls, and DraftKings Sportsbook is keeping us in on all the NFL action with great offers every single game day. New customers bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's right, you throw $5 down on any of this week's epic matchups and you could walk away an instant winner. And DraftKings isn't stopping there. Oh no, they're not. All customers can take advantage of not one but two new offers every game day this September. Football's more fun when you're in on the action, so download the app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, with code THPN. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available. For problem gambling, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftking.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. So get in on it now. DraftKings Sportsbook, code THPN. All right, we are back, and I had to play that again because I had my volume down on it, so I apologize.
We've had some breaking news.
We do?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, breaking news during the ad break.
Breaking news. Apparently, there's this phrase on a very popular TV show, or its fans have a hell of a time rooting for this New Jersey NHL franchise. And the answer is, who are the Devils? Jeopardy.
Oh, Jeopardy. It was Jeopardy. Okay.
How about that?
Oh, did they get it right at least?
I don't know. I just, it popped up on Facebook.
I do want to touch on the Babcock Columbus situation.
Say that again? What do you want to touch on?
I want to touch the Babcock.
Gotcha. That's what I thought you said.
So, we talked about it a little bit on Saturday night, and we didn't know what was happening, and, we knew that the NHLPA was investigating. We weren't sure where it was going, and then Sunday he resigns. We still don't know exactly what happened, but I don't know if you guys saw any of the press conferences and stuff afterwards. Yes. With Kakalainen and Davidson basically falling on their swords and saying we never should have made this hire, we made a big mistake, and blah, blah, blah. Which is just lip service to the, I think, ownership to be like, please don't fire us.
It is lip service, and, just before you go on, for two seasoned executives like that, I thought that they probably could have spoke a little more from the heart and not have to read down on their piece of paper every 5 minutes, every 5 seconds. I mean, it's clear what you need to say, and if you can be at that level of, as an executive, and you really have to keep going down to your notes and having short sentences, I just thought that was a little weak. I understand what they said. What they said was right. I just thought a little more, passion could have come out.
Does this hurt the Columbus Blue Jackets this season? You make this big hire. It's all the news in the summertime. It was one of the biggest stories. This guy not only doesn't even get a chance to coach a game, he doesn't even get a chance to fucking coach a practice.
I don't think it's definitely not a good thing, but it's probably better than keeping him because the way this is going to work. It's just going to grow and grow and grow. It's going to become a distraction, be a whole media story during the season. They had to pull the Band-Aid off quick, I think, and that's probably the best move. It's not a great thing, but what else could you do?
To me, the only thing that I think can cause a rift with them is when you have guys like Boom Jenner and Johnny Gaudreau and stuff that were cool with what Babcock was doing. They were defending Babcock. And then you have these younger guys, and we don't know exactly who it was or what group of kids it was that had a problem with this. But is that going to cause any friction in the locker room? That, some guys might say, you basically got our coach fired, and, other guys, I don't know.
And I don't know this either, right? But how much of that is also just a veteran knowing what he needs to say to help kind of smother this out, where maybe he personally didn't like it either, but he knows the value of, keeping everybody in the room, keeping the coach respected, and just, maybe wanted to win. We don't know that either.
And, it made me think, because all everybody kept talking about was how out of touch guys like Babcock are with these young guys. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, we have the oldest coach in the NHL. I'm pretty sure Lindy is the oldest coach in the NHL. And up until maybe a year or so ago, in the whole world ever. He's 742 years old. He's like 2 years younger than Yoda.
Yeah.
And
maybe older.
So possibly older. So he definitely looks it. But he might be the oldest guy. I think he is. And then you have like the Devils, who up until maybe a year or so ago were the youngest team in this league. I mean, they added some, Pilots and Hollas and Toffoli's. That, raises their average a little bit. But they are a very young team. And how much of I was, I can question some of Lindy Ruff's coaching philosophy in some ways, but how he has gotten to these kids, I think it's remarkable. Sure. I really do. For a guy that age to be able to somehow, be able to fit in with these guys, and he has their respect. They bust their ass for him. It just really does go to show how good Lindy is with this. Now, I really hope that they can go and win a cup with Lindy. The more that when Dan had mentioned it a little while ago and a couple of shows ago, is it ever going to get to a time where, okay, Lindy developed these guys and got them only so far, and you're going to have to bring somebody else in, a la, Vegas, with what the hell's his name? Cassidy, right? And get over that hump. And I hope it doesn't happen, because Lindy deserves a cup. And he deserves it with this team, with everything that he's done and how he's developed it. I really hope that he's around if this team ever does reach that milestone, because I know like I shit on him a lot, but as far as like his technique, I mean, just some of the things he does behind the bench, I'm like, it's scratching my head. But man, you cannot argue with the results of how he has developed these guys. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah. No, he always seemed a little bit of an enigma to me, and I blame that on me. I feel like he's always been a couple steps ahead of me. So when I question him, I'm also quite aware that you said it. You can't argue with his results. He does such a good job with this team. You never see like the team has kind of like lost faith in him or anything like that. Quite the opposite, And that's been the best thing about the development of this team in recent years is Lindy.
Bob, anything to add?
For Lindy? Yeah. I mean, I've always maintained I thought he was a great coach for this team. I liked his style. I do know, of course, with the line changes and all, but I also said on record a couple times, I do feel like he does have a rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes it sure seems like he doesn't, and maybe sometimes he doesn't. But I think he's a very strategic thinker. I think he's very in tune with the flow of the game. I think he's still the right coach for us, and I certainly hope he gets a cup for me, and then he can have it too, I guess.
Do you think that Timo Meier wearing number 28 is going to have some bad juju? Just with the whole Damon Severson 28.
Only Dan does.
I kind of do too. I was like, why does it have to be 28?
Great 28s. Rafalski was a 28. Sean Chambers,
yes.
Or was he 29? I can't remember.
I think he was 29.
No, Severson cannot stain the number 28 to the point where it's going to pass on to Meier. I refuse to believe in such black magic.
Or hopefully Timo will bring it back to respectability.
Yes,
that's it. But I am so excited. How many days do we have? We have 3 weeks, right? And then we have till the puck drops, and we have preseason coming up this Monday, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Great.
So let's go over that preseason schedule. Who do we have first? What do we got?
I believe the first is
Montreal.
Monday is a split squad, right? You have it, Bob, or you want me to pull it up?
I can pull it up.
Go ahead.
But,
yeah, I think Monday was a split squad, Montreal and Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about any of the other games. And then also, are they like? Can you get them on MSG now, or do you have to go to like the YouTube channel or whatever to watch these?
That is a great question.
Because I don't know if MSG is covering them. I do have to say something real quick off the subject. Bobby, did you watch any football this weekend or no?
I did watch some football this weekend, actually. I've actually been enjoying football this year.
Did you watch any of the games Monday night?
No.
Okay, so Bryce Young, you know who he is, right? Bryce Young, the first overall pick,
yes.
Quarterback for Carolina Panthers. I am going to make a hot take. I'm going to put it on record right here that Bryce Young will go down in history as the greatest quarterback in XFL history because there is no way this dude can make it in the NFL. Bro, I'm watching that game on Monday night, and he's my size. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care how great of an arm you have. I don't care all this stuff. Like, you are not going to make it when you are they have him listed at 5'10". There's no fucking way he's 5'10". Like, if you're 5'9", you're lucky, and you're gonna try. First, I don't even know how you see over half these dudes. They're 6'3", 6'4", 6'6", some of them, and you got guys that are 300 pounds, 260, barreling down at you. This guy, I've seen, he was getting just slightly tapped and getting sacked. Like, this guy's got. I'm watching. I'm like, man, they traded so much to move up to get him, and I think he's going to be one of the biggest busts in NFL history. But he will pull a Doug Flutie, like when Flutie went over to the CFL and lit it up. He'll do that in the XFL. So that's it. So in 10 years' time, when that happens, you come back to this podcast. So you heard it here first.
That's exciting. I'm so excited for the XFL.
So what do you got,
All right, I did
Bobby?
get the schedule up. Okay, so
right,
after the split with Montreal on Monday, we actually have the Rangers on Thursday at Madison Square Garden.
Where are the games on Monday? Are they both away?
Let's see, at Montreal and versus Philly. So
okay, so that's at home.
Yep. So then we got the Rangers Thursday. We have at Philly on Saturday the 30th. Then we go to October, Monday the 2nd versus the Islanders. Wednesday the 4th versus the Rangers. Friday the 6th at the Islanders, and then they're off until opening day.
So other than Montreal, we just play the Flyers, Islanders, and Rangers in the preseason.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm, it's going to be a fun camp. It really is. I can't wait to see if, I like Graham Clark. I'm real curious to see how him and Holtz match up to see who's going to take that spot because I really do. I think it's up to those two. I mean, to play alongside Palat and Holla. I don't think anybody else is in the running for that. Do you?
I don't personally. Foote. I mean, I still think there's a place for him on this team.
Yeah, I think it would be with McLeod and Bastion, though. I don't know if they would move him. I'm saying that Tatar's spot, basically, it would be Tatar's spot.
For sure. It's going to be really exciting to that. So I wonder what you guys think about that, given the strength of this team, like how the team is built. This preseason, do you think we're going to see more of kind of the same where the main guys aren't getting in for a while? Or do you think they're going to say, no, we pretty much got a core. We're looking specifically at a few guys. And maybe the Jack Hughes and the Timo Myers get more time than you normally would.
I mean, I like preseason just so the guys, you want, especially in this division and this whole conference in the East, you cannot get off to a slow start. So, you want the timing to be there. You want the guys to be pretty comfortable. But then there's always that, that fucking sort of Damocles just hanging over our heads that somebody's going to get injured. And that's the thing that scares me. Like, I would rather take our top 6 and put them in bubble wrap and then throw them out there and see what happens. But I mean, I think they probably will get a lot of time because you do have some new guys on there too. Like, where's Toffoli going to fit in? And even Meyer, like we don't, he had 20 games before the playoffs and he was just kind of thrown in. So I think it's going to, and Lindy loves shuffling lines.
That was one of the biggest shuffles, right? Like he didn't score in the first 2 games and all of a sudden he was changing up right away.
Yep.
He got moved a lot.
I think that it would probably be to start. I would expect it to be Mercer, Heischer, Meyer on line 1, and then Bratt and Hughes and Toffoli on line 2. And then, like you said, you can kind of move those guys around, especially, Meyer and Toffoli. They bounce up and bounce down, but they will. I think they probably will get a lot of ice time this preseason, especially.
That's my feeling.
And I'm curious what goalies are showing up in camp. How many goalies are going to be there, and who's going to, is there anybody that's going to step up that's maybe going to make this team question, hey, let's, maybe somebody's got some legs and they like them and they throw them down in the AHL and hopefully, well, not hopefully, but if we get an injury or something, we got somebody that hopefully can come in and play. That's because that's the thing that scares me the most is our goaltending, let alone if somebody goes down. Mm-hmm. Because if Vanacek gets hurt, who is it? It's Schmid and who? I don't know. Because
we'll probably see Dawes during the preseason. I would expect.
Yeah, he's injured. Dawes won't be available till around December. So, he would be a guy I would definitely want to see in the preseason, but I don't know, he won't be there. So that's the thing. They haven't announced everybody that's at camp yet, have they, Bob? I don't know if because I know today was just physicals, so I don't think anything came out today as far as any kind of media or anything like that.
I haven't seen it yet, but I also went kind of straight from work into this. So if it's out there, I didn't really get a chance to see it. But.
And what about you, Dan? You got anything else? Look like you're falling asleep over there.
No, I actually have it sounds like some kind of jazz club has opened up in my house. So I've actually tried to mute as much as possible.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Yes. What is that? The kids are playing their instruments?
Yes. It looks like it's practice time.
Is that
Nobody's checking their phones.
Is that
so here we go.
Saxophone? Saxophone. What do you got, Bob?
Well, I do have an article written by James Nichols for New Jersey Hockey Now.
Okay.
It's 3 bold predictions. Now, I did not read this detail to detail yet because I wanted to run through his 3 predictions without any biases coming up from something I read. Just going to point them out and just see your reactions. The first bold prediction is Vitek Vanacek will enter the Vezina conversation.
That's bold.
It's very bold. I'm excited about it, prospect of it, but it's bold.
And glancing, again, I'm not detailing it. I'm going to go back and read it, but obviously he speaks to the first year he had a bigger workload and how statistically well he did.
Dan, you're a goalie.
Yes. Can
Vitek Vanacek be in the Vezina conversation?
Yes, I think any current NHL goaltender possesses that ability to where they could have a crazy. Now, when you handicap that for odds, it's not super high, right? If we were going to say the top 10 goaltenders are going to be in it, Vitek wouldn't be on anyone's list. We could ask a bunch of people in media. We could ask the fans in general, and I don't think he's going to be on anybody's list. But no, I mean, any current NHL goaltender, and they could definitely make that list. And so it's not out of the realm of possibility. Bob brought up a good point. Maybe he does require – maybe this talk about not having a good relationship with heavy workload is BS, and maybe it's talk that has kind of gotten his head. Maybe he breaks out of that. I think he's got the tools to be elite Vezina contender, yes. Do I think it's going to happen? I would not bet big money on it. I really wouldn't. But, I'm hoping for it for sure. I'm excited to say that maybe this guy knows something I don't, that he's ready to pop for some reason. It's possible.
What about you, Bob? What do you think?
I think Dan nailed it. I mean, for anybody, it's possible. And I think he's a better than average goalie in the league. Like, put him in the top 15 or whatever you want to call it from what I've seen. And I thought he had a really great year. I do see that goalie in him that could be spectacular at times. So is it within the realm? Sure. Is it likely? Probably not, just given some of the other names that are out there. But it's not for lack of talent. I think he does have an opportunity.
If you can take any goaltender from the league right now and plop them in the Devils, who would you take?
That's a tough call. Yeah,
I mean, I'm really big on Shesterkin, to be honest with you, and
it's hard to go against him. It really is.
It is.
I would go to the other New York team. I would take Ilya Sorokin.
You can't go wrong.
I like Sorokin. So what does he actually write about the Vitek thing?
No, like I said, I didn't go back and read all the details.
Oh, okay. So you just wrote down. Okay, so what's
right? I just wanted to see what our gut reaction was to it. I'm going to go back and read it after. On the third point, I did get a little more specific because that one's important. His second bold prediction is that Nolan Foote will blossom into an everyday NHLer.
That's something that you had said back in the spring, Bobby.
Yeah,
after the season.
Very possible. He's got a role, whether it be third or fourth line. Another guy that for me, we know who I'm rooting for to make the team, but something about Foote tells me he might be a better long-term NHLer. So it's very possible this is the year where he takes a step hold.
Well, I think they're, I know you're talking about Holtz, and they're different players. I mean, I think what Nolan Foote, I almost said Adam Foote, his father, what Nolan Foote brings, I think, is every team needs a guy like that, and because he's going to produce at that level every single night. A guy like Alexander Holtz, I mean, we still don't know what the hell we have. He is the biggest question mark going into this training camp, and we know he's going to probably make the team, but can he stay there? That's the big thing. I think that he's 100. Whoever wrote that, Jim Nichols, I think.
James Nichols, yep.
I think he's 100% right that Nolan Foote will be the guy that is in that lineup every single night, because I think that fourth line, I mean, I don't know where guys. I know we're going to have injuries and stuff like that, but like a Lazar, I don't know where he fits in on this team right now. Yeah. Like, to me, that fourth line is McLeod, Bastian, and Foote, and that's what it should be. And I think that could be a very, very good fourth line. The third line, again, we don't know, because it's going to be somebody. Hopefully, it's Alex Holtz, but we're not saying that with Nolan Foote. We're like kind of plugging him into that fourth line. Like, we're pretty confident he's going to make that. You're muted, buddy.
I like if it's Foote, because now if it's the BMF line instead of BMW.
Right, the big bad motherfucker line.
Exactly.
Oh, I like it. The bad motherfucker line.
That's awesome.
Right, maybe on TV you say it's the Pulp Fiction wallet line, or something. I don't know what.
How about the bad mother shut your mouth line?
Cool. I like that.
I like that too.
Can we get Spaulding to do that? That would be great.
I don't think so, but we could try. I bet we get Danico to do it. He would just stumble all over it. He would definitely mess up and be like, "The bad motherfucker liner out there." He would definitely mess up and spit it out.
I've never heard Kenny let an F-bomb slip.
No.
I give him credit.
No.
Because he must have just not stopped. It just seems like that kind of guy.
You know who I'm surprised I never let an F-bomb slip? Is Chico Resch. I'm really surprised because he gets so excited. But he gets so excited during games.
Yeah, he does.
And Matt,
he doesn't ever use those words. Because he's
like Matty will be calling the game and you hear him in the back when they score. And he's like, yes, I expect him to be like, fuck yeah, like, oh, whoa, Glenn. Can't do that.
When he stepped down from being like the guy, I think he was finally like, oh my God, next time I do this, I just get to totally be myself. Because he does do that in the background, like losing his shit. Like nobody else does that.
It can be intimidating when you are brought in to do color next to Doc Emmerich. I can totally see how that can intimidate the living shit out of you.
Yeah, for sure.
And being with Maddie, I think, is a lot less pressure. Plus, you're on the radio. Who's listening to you? Not many people.
Exactly. You can eat a hot dog while you're calling the game, and that's all he's ever wanted to do.
Yeah,
he's been hot
you're
dog
right.
aficionado.
That's it.
And I caught some of them last year, and I really enjoyed him. I'm like, Chico is not only still great, he's better than ever. I think it's being with Matt. I think it's being on the radio, and he's just like this happy guy. I mean, he's kind of like the happy dog of commentators. He's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's always his tail's always wagging.
And he doesn't mind being a homer to an extent. He's like okay with that. But I think he's also very fair. Watching the Devils blow one of those games against the Rangers, he was very candid about it, and not in an angry way. He was just like if the guy was dropping F-bombs, I don't know what I would make out of it, because I've never seen him like that. No matter how bad things get, he's always been kind of like a happy guy.
And that's why if I was ever a play-by-play guy in any sport, I couldn't be the play-by-play guy for my team. I'd have to be able to do it for somebody else, because you just, you wear it. I would just, like games 1 and 2, I wouldn't be able to call those games. I'd be fucking cursing the team out. Like, how could you let the fucking Rangers come in here and do this to you? But, all right, what's the third bold prediction?
third and final bold prediction. This one I went into his bullet points a little bit without going full on detail. The Devils will win the Stanley Cup this year. Wow, he cites these reasons on what you need to be a Stanley Cup winning team. And we have them all. A franchise player. A number one
I'd argue we have two.
You could definitely do that.
And I'd argue we'd have two number one defensemen as well.
Do that. A Selke caliber forward.
Oh, yeah.
Playoff experience.
Check.
Strong support class.
Check.
And depth.
Check.
Yeah.
He doesn't have grit in there. And I do think that's something that you need. But I also...
He doesn't have spectacular goaltending. And
no, he doesn't.
I feel like you need that too.
But do you? I mean, Adin Hill. I just go back to him last year, and Vegas their defense was phenomenal. They allowed you get that shot in on Adin Hill, and the puck they turned around. Their transition game was bang right out the ice. He very rarely in all of those 16 wins had to make recovery saves and rebound saves and things like that. His defense was stellar. So I don't know. Do you need Andre Vasilevsky every year to win the Cup? I don't know anymore.
You definitely need solid goaltending. Let's change it from spectacular to solid.
Yes.
It has to be there. You can't have him giving up questionable goals, and this is what we were tarred with last year. I think it was maybe overstated. I don't think the goaltending was as bad as many people, including Devils fans, said it was. Mm-hmm. But I don't think anybody would fairly say that was a solid goaltending performance you got there all the way through the playoffs up until you lost. It wasn't that like that,
Right.
I mean, they do have all those pieces. If you had to make a bold prediction or hot take for this season, what would it be? I can see this team winning the President's Trophy.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. President's Trophy is totally within reach. Let's face it, they were not that far off last year, except for an insane pace by Boston.
Yeah.
They were really in the hunt for second place on that the whole way through. It's not a crazy stretch to say, and it's amazing how this team has gotten better on paper, and they were already spectacular last year, so that's not out. I would say it's going to seem less bold than saying they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but I see them going to the conference finals as like a very high probability bet. I mean, I think I picked them to go to the conference finals, and that's just a super safe bet. There are other teams. Maybe we end up with somehow Toronto and the Hurricanes, mm-hmm. But that's plausible too. But it's probably less plausible than the Devils versus one of those teams. So that's probably the most likely thing that I think is a safe bet. And so I don't know how bold it is, but that's my prediction.
I like it. Bob?
So I want this to be bold, I guess. Something a little different. So I'm going to go.
This is a safe space. Just let it go. Just let it go.
No one's going to listen to this?
No, probably not.
Goals.
Okay.
That's
I think that Dawson Mercer, given he's playing in the correct role, meaning consistently in the top six, will flirt with 40 goals.
Ooh.
Now,
what did he have last year?
20,
I was going to say he had like 28,
right?
29.
Yeah.
Okay, something like that. High 20s last year. You could say 40 goals.
Flirt with, a 10, 12 goal
increase.
More goal increase. Yeah.
So you're saying 35 or over this year
there
for Dawson Mercer.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a season that would be. And Tom Fitzgerald would be kicking himself in the ass. They didn't lock him up this summer because he's going to be much more expensive next summer. I hope he stays. I really do. I hope he likes it here. I hope he wants to stay because I do think that he is that guy that can be a catalyst for this team because, here's another question. Do you think everybody talks about this, that when a team has a little bit of playoff experience and they lose in the playoffs and then they come back the next year and they win the cup or whatever, or they don't make the playoffs and then the next year they go and win the cup like Vegas did. And even when, I think when Boston won their cup, they didn't make the playoffs the year before or something. But do you think the playoff run they had last year was enough for this team to give them enough playoff experience, or do you think that really doesn't matter? I'm curious.
It does matter. It is a good thing. It would probably be that much more weighty and predictive of this upcoming year if they had maybe made it to the conference finals and won that round against Carolina. That would be huge. You could be like, wow, this team is definitely, go. But I would say that that's enough for them to have that taste, to know they can do it, right? That's important. The playoff atmosphere is totally different. And they had as a pretty eventful playoffs. To come back from being down 2-0 showed a lot of grit, showed a lot of tenacity. Beating your crosstown rivals, that was huge. So that first round was great. Second round, hopefully they take lessons of why they fell apart. I think that so that could be helpful. Would have been great that they have that. Wow, we were just at the conference final. We were one more win from going to the Stanley Cup Finals, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be even better. But let's face it, we can't act like this doesn't matter. Imagine they didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
even imagine they went down in the first round. Would you be feeling as good about this season, even with the upgrades they made? I think I feel better knowing that they made the playoffs and they won the first round. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Well, I think winning that round definitely was super important for their development as far as coming in the playoffs. I do worry, though, that, you get into another first round series against the Rangers. It's 6-7 games. It's emotional. It's that wiped them out. I really do. I mean, I know that I heard Tom Fitzgerald on a podcast, and they asked him like, well, what happened in the Carolina series really? And he said, well, the guys learned the hard way that, okay, the playoffs start and that's another level. But the second round is also another level. And the third round is another level. And the finals are another level. So they I think I don't want to see them, next year lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then in next year they lose in the Stanley Cup Finals. Then they win their cup. Like, right. No, let's, I just don't know. I mean, I think this team right now is built so much better than last year's team. I really do. I think this team is going to be a lot better than last year's team, which is fucking insane because they were third best in the league. That's why I say I don't think a President's Trophy is out of reach for these guys. I just, you had there were some holes in the lineup last year, especially with Palat getting hurt. Bastion going out. We had times where Marino and Graves were out. There were some holes in the lineup, not just through injury, but just in general, guys that weren't, Miles Wood should have been a lot more productive. Michael McLeod should be a lot more productive this year. I just see this.
Guys who just recently joined the team didn't really get a chance to gel.
Yeah. And
be with us all year.
Timo Meier and Tyler Toffoli are such big gets for this club. And it takes pressure off guys like Jesper Bratt and Dawson Mercer to have to be the guys all the time. Now they can spread it out. I do think, Jesper Bratt will have less of those slumps where he just disappears. Dawson Mercer will really be able to take off. And I think Dawson Mercer is the type of player that he will be a clutch playoff guy for this team down the road. But do you think that playoff experience was enough, Bobby?
Enough that's kind of a hard word to say, enough. But I can tell you that I feel like the Rangers series was almost like two series in one, meaning that they got more experience out of that one series than they likely would have in a normal series to win or lose. The home away dynamic. I don't think most teams fans would understand what it's like to, even in a playoff game, have your building infiltrated by 30% of your neighbor that's 8 miles away. I don't think it was quite that high for the playoffs, but still it did change the dynamic, being down 0-2 and the extreme low that must have been. And they could say all the right things and say, no, you got to keep an even keel and all that. You're down 0-2 to your, crosstown rivals. It took a major spark to get them going back in the right direction. And they did, and they won that. So I think that was extremely valuable. But then that loss to Carolina, that's where I think the real experience comes in. And you summed it up the way that, the GM did. You weren't ready for what you thought you knew playoff hockey, and then you got to that. And now if you don't need to keep getting beat up that way to realize what you have to do to win, that's got to stick with you. So I really do feel like, even though it's just, a series and a half or a little more, that it had the value of a longer run. Yeah. So I'm hoping they take out a lot of experience from it.
I like it. And then one more question before we wrap up. Do you guys think the Rangers are a Stanley Cup contender?
Unfortunately, they are still. I don't think as much as us, but you get hot at the right time with the team that they have. Think about some of their key guys that did zero, not a little, but zero, and put anything normal into their game. And who knows? We probably don't come out of that series. So
yeah, I mean, they had us on the ropes. There were guys who were quiet for the entire series, and then didn't produce a single point and got barely any shots on goal. That was kind of uncharacteristic, like Panarin, etc. So they're going to be a dangerous team. I haven't seen too much detail on their offseason moves, so it's hard for me to feel as sure about where they're going as for, say, the Devils. But I think that to not put them in the playoffs is crazy. They're going to be in the playoffs, and any team in the playoffs is going to be able to make some noise. Is it possible that they don't make it, that they're just crash and burn? Yeah, it totally is. And I would love every minute of it.
I don't know if I can say that it's a given that they're going to make the playoffs, only for the reason that when you look at the Atlantic, which I think is the toughest division in hockey, and the Rangers are a very good team, and they have stellar goaltending. Yeah. They have Peter Laviolette. He knows what he's doing. He's not a bad coach. He's going to put the players in the right spot to get the most out of them. I have no doubt in that. But can they keep up pace of play with some of these teams in the Eastern Conference, like us, and even Carolina and Buffalo and Ottawa and, Toronto, exactly. Even Tampa, I'll throw in there. I don't know if they – because I can see – and I don't think this will happen, but I can see where – the top 3 come out of the Metro and the other 5 come out of the Atlantic. And if that's the case, and maybe Pittsburgh jumps them into that 3rd spot, or, some other team that comes out of the blue, I don't think that would really happen. I really think Pittsburgh's probably the only one that can really jockey for that spot. But then, if it's Toronto and Tampa and Boston and Ottawa and Buffalo coming out of the Atlantic, right. Is that too crazy?
It's not possible. Yeah. I got to put that at less than 50% chance, just because look at what you have to happen. Buffalo has to have that year that they might have, but it's a huge question mark. They're coming out of the weeds, trying to be a real team. And, you need a couple other teams that performed poorly last year to really turn it on. In that scenario, and if the Rangers just find themselves slower and just, fall off the track, have a lot of other problems, and don't produce as they did last year, yeah, it's possible they don't make the playoffs. It's just, I think it's more likely than not. If I was going to put percentage on it, 65, 75% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I would say that's about right. I give them a 75%. I would definitely bet on them making the playoffs. But I just, I think about that team. I think about the fact that they are getting up there in age, and then I just think about what could happen with these other teams, like you said. And if they do make a jump, I think a team like the Rangers can really find themselves in trouble.
I will say this. We talked, I think, on the last show about, again, the Devils had that 13-game winning streak. And I was like, well, what did they have compared to Carolina? And they had a very similar one, right? And if you recall, too, the Rangers had they had to come back from a lot. They had a terrible beginning of the year, I believe, right? So they had to play at a really big clip. And I do think it's less likely that they can maintain that kind of point level for any extended amount of time, even more than us. I would almost say we'd probably do a 10-game winning streak before they can do that again, because they really played out of their mind for a long time. And that's where I support kind of your theory or whatever, that it's just they are just another year older, perhaps another year slower. The momentum doesn't seem to be on their side.
Right.
That doesn't mean shit once you start playing the games, but just less likely to me that they can maintain that amount of accumulating points this year,
right,
without playing simply more consistent.
And if Shesterkin dips a little in play, or God forbid gets injured or something like that, they're done. They're done. Their entire.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah,
I give them such high chances. That 75% is a huge part to him.
Right. And I mean, it's great to have that goalie, but it's so much better to have a team around him. And I just don't. I mean, Shesterkin is the lifeblood of the New York Rangers, and as he goes, that team's going to go. And he's fantastic. But I think that the Rangers will end up 3rd in the Metro. I do believe that. I do think Pittsburgh's going to give them a hard time, but I think the Rangers are going to come out of it. But if they do slump, I mean, that's the key this year, right? It's a hot start. Like, you got to get points and bank them early like we did last year, because you know you're going to have some injuries. You're going to have some growing pains, or just some, things aren't going to go your way. You're not going to get bounces. Every team goes through it. You can't fucking find the back of the net.
Too many back-to-backs.
Yeah. I heard somebody talking on, I forget what I was listening to, but it was a goalie, and they asked him what he would change, anything that he would change in the NHL, and he said I'd get rid of back-to-backs. That was one. We start with back-to-backs. I mean,
he just wants to play every game too.
Yeah,
exactly.
Look
at him; they're almost always split.
Exactly,
and that's like, here's a game I'm not going to play. One of the two,
All right. Well, one last, and then we're done. Opening night, October 12th, and we also play the 13th, which we have our first back-to-back. It is going to be Detroit, and I think the Yotes in Game 2. Who gets to start against the Red Wings? Is it going to be Schmidt or Vanacek?
Vitek.
I think it's going to be Vanacek as well. I totally agree.
I'm going to go with Schmidt just because I want to be different. So I'm going to go with Schmidt. I think Schmidt's going to impress. I think they're going to put a lot on Schmidt's plate this year, and it's going to be, you're
honestly, that's my preferred move. I'll be honest with you, is give him the starting job to lose and just see how that goes. And but I feel like in my gut they're not going to do that.
I think you're probably right, but I think that's what they should do, because I mean, look, he's the future. Let's see what he's got. And I mean, you give him a full year.
Well, then it's Vanacek's to lose, and
that's it.
You try to give each of them support of more than just one outing. Don't just put them on a carousel rotating blindly. But I would think at this point, give Schmidt enough games to see if it's his deal. If it was up to me, barring any kind of injury or major catastrophe, letting in like crazy amount of goals, you're going to want to give him, I would say like maybe 7 of the first 8 starts if possible. Just try to set that up. I don't think they're going to do that, but that's my gut. That's what I would like to do.
Unless one of those goalies just completely outplays the other, I see them going as close to a split down the year as possible. Yeah. I really do.
You're probably right. And not a huge fan of that idea, but I think it's the most likely.
I don't think anyone's going to escape the workload thing for V, and that's going to play a big part of it, keeping him fresher longer.
Which is fine. If you got a capable guy, but I mean, I think all of our hopes is that Vanacek just becomes a very steady backup to Schmidt, and Schmidt's the guy.
I just want somebody to claim the seat and know for the playoff run.
Yeah, take it.
I know what Schmidt did coming in and helping us out like that, and if it's him, fine. But I would love to see just one guy. But it's a different NHL, so we'll see.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for checking us out tonight. Remember, wherever you are listening to us, a like, a download, a 5-star review, a positive review goes a very long way in us promoting the podcast. And you could also check us out on the Hockey Podcast Network, where you can get over 100 podcasts of hockey, every NHL team, all kinds of good stuff on there. So definitely go and check that out. And we will be back on Saturday night. All 4 of us, where we'll go over some of the training camp notes that we have going on, who's showing up, what to expect a little bit for the preseason, and maybe we'll have a little bit more insight into who's going to be playing on what squads, and we can discuss that a little bit. So for Bobby and Dan, I'm Chris. We're the Uncle Puckers. Thanks so much for checking us out tonight, and we will see you when we see you.
Puck is out.
Later.
And...
That's
what we're going to have to do. Imagine it today.
This podcast can never close their show right.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Damn, I don't know what happened this time.